discover that our world is still full of miracles.
I loved this opening of exposition to really place us in the time and the circumstances. So we got an inkling. They didn't give it all away, but they give an inkling of what's going on in the world and where this character's framework is. And from the test tubes and the experiments to the government mandates, it felt quite immersive, but not overly, it didn't give too much away. So there was still some really nice reveals and twists as we continued on with this piece. But I loved the dropping us into the action with that Frankenstein iconic moment. Really great concept and brilliantly realized in the very moody, atmospheric approach, the coldness and that focus on progress rather than humanity, that focus on growth over what we know to be good for the body and trying to push the human body beyond its limits, both with technology and science, but also with trying to avoid the inevitable in our habits. I really loved the twist that the father was responsible for this progression in climate change and pumping out fossil fuels. And I thought this was really great, especially in that drive from the daughter where there was almost a coldness in the performance with a lack of almost surprise in bringing her father to life, and that pushing of her father's body to have longevity rather than to have health or quality of life.
To me, there's more than one message here. The main one, of course, I think is the climate change and our environment and what we're doing to attribute to this climate change being so drastic and people dying. I like the line, our world is still full of miracles, because I think it's important to really watch out for those because it's such a negative world right now. But it's, and she's this, she's trying to keep her dad alive, but I love the acting the guy is doing, because if he didn't really commit to that, it wouldn't be believable. And I thought he was so believable. And the actress was really good too, because she wasn't over the top. It wasn't over the top. It was really well done, really well directed. This is like a modern day Frankenstein. And I thought it was really interesting. And then at the end, she's trying to keep them both alive. So it's also a purpose for her, I guess, trying to get her through this tough period. Kind of crazy idea. I liked it though, and I thought it was a fun ride, and it was also very sad watching her be so obsessed over not letting this person in her life go.
Filmmakers did such a great job with lighting and cinematography in this. The lighting in and of itself gave it this very futuristic feel, like apocalyptic. You definitely got that vibe from this film. And I think that the filmmakers told a story that was very poignant and suspenseful at the same time, with just those little tiny elements of horror mixed into it. And they had all of this balance so well done. The way that they set the story up to let the viewer know what was going on and what was happening, I think that was great with the voiceover in the beginning. And how all of the twists and turns that they take you through, they definitely take you on this journey.
Super gory premise of human survival. I think growing a conscience for the rich and powerful is the real fiction here. And I love the very gory special effects and the intricate plot into this very clever title. They have a great backstory and exploring options to extend humans' lives, zombie style. It was very cool. I loved the whole thing, the performances, how this person that was supposed to be dead, it's realizing that they are not. It's just very deep.
I thought this was really fun. I thought it was a fun twist on kind of a zombie-esque movie or a straight-up zombie movie, having all of this emphasis, especially on climate change and how obviously that has impacted people's lives and has led to, you know, deaths and everything like that. And then just having her work in, you know, a morgue of some kind, and having her dad there, which would have been incredibly difficult anyway, and obviously would push somebody to do something that they wouldn't normally do, being confronted with that kind of grief, but also that kind of unknown of like, how should you, you know, respond in that situation, even if it isn't your dad, even if it is just like a random person. So I thought that was, you know, interesting in itself. So I thought it was really, really interesting. I thought it was really fun. I thought, like I said, it was a nice kind of twist on a classic kind of zombie movie. And, you know, you have all these different kind of like layers to it. And then she ends up bringing back the, you know, the transportation guy anyway, who was driving the hearse. And, you know, she's contending with the fact that, like, no, she's been bitten. And, you know, I like that it just kind of leaves that vague of, like, how that is actually going to unfold. I thought it was really fun.
This essence of this sci-fi atmosphere between the father struggling with a disease of some sort. You know, you think your brain goes to like Alzheimer's, dementia, this sort of thing, but it's kind of given a little twist to this Frankenstein like atmosphere that the director has created here. We kind of have this mad scientist that stands in the form of his daughter, and there's something not right here. Like, she's clammy, it's uncomfortable, it's, you know, this man is essentially being trapped in the basement during the sequence. You know, it's this father and daughter pairing. There is definitely this underlying connection to them in the forms of like baby cries, and having this sequence of him having this agonizing pain and then essentially crying in the form of a baby. You know, we kind of get this element that he doesn't want to be here anymore. At the end, it essentially fades into this ad for the second life, so to speak. So essentially, like zombifying our loved ones in order to get a second life, but it doesn't mean that they exactly come back the same as they are before. And we have to kind of deal with the consequences of that.